Hey dears, welcome to my channel. This is Priya Karnaharan. Hope you all are doing good. And in this class, we're gonna discuss about administrative discretion. So let's get right into the video. First, we will see meaning and definitions. Meaning is the freedom to decide what should be done in a particular situation. And according to Justice Coke, he defines it as discretion is a science or understanding to discern between falsity and truth, between right and wrong, between shadows and substance, between equity and colorable glasses and pretenses, and not to do according to their will and private affections. And then according to D. Smith, he defines it as administrative discretion is the power to make a choice between alternative course of action. And then according to Casey Davis, he defines it as administrative discretion is a power which gives a public authority a free hand to make choice among possible course of action or inaction. Administrative discretion. It must not be arbitrary or vague but legal and regular. In England, even the refusal of exercising discretionary power where it imposes a duty to exercise it gives rise to liability to damages. But in India, there is no such law, but no doubt an authority may be compelled in India to exercise his discretion where he has been expressly with such power through courts. In layman's language means choosing from amongst the various available alternatives without reference to any predetermined criterion, no matter how fanciful the choice may be. But the term discretion, when qualified by the word administrative, has somewhat different overtones. Discretion in this sense means choosing from amongst the various available alternatives but with reference to rules of reason and justice, and not according to personal whims. Such exercise is not to be arbitrary, vague, and fanciful, but legal and regular. There is no set pattern of conferring discretion on an administrative officer. It is true that with the exercise of discretion on case-to-case basis, these vague generalizations are reduced into more specific molds. Yet the margin of oscillation is never eliminated. Therefore, the need for judicial correction of unreasonable exercise of administrative discretion cannot be overemphasized. And then there are two types, subjective and objective. Subjective, when the authority is empowered to set his own limits to determine the criteria for decision. Objective, where the statute imposes a ascertainable predetermined criteria with the authority, he must make his choice. For example, Companies Act, authority can appoint inspection if there is a fraud oppression. Here the existence of act of fraud only gives the discretion to the administrative authority. Abuse of discretion. In India, the administrative discretion thus may be reviewed by the court on the following grounds. Nowadays, the administrative authorities are conferred by discretionary power. There is a great need of their control so that they may not be misused. Discretionary power is required to be exercised according to law. When the mode of exercising a valid power is improper or unreasonable, there is an abuse of power. In the following condition, the abuse of discretionary power is inferred. The first one is use for improper purpose. Second one is malafide or bad faith. Third one is irrelevant consideration. Fourth one is leaving out relevant consideration. Fifth one is mixed consideration. Sixth one is unreasonableness. Seventh one is colorable exercise of power. Eighth one is non-compliance with procedural requirements and principles of natural justice. Ninth one is exceeding jurisdiction. Failure to exercise discretion. First one is application of mind to facts and circumstances. Case law is Emperor versus Subnath Banerjee. Second one is acting under direction or dictation. Case law is Orient Paper Mill versus Union of India. Third one is discretion by the authority itself. Fourth one is consideration of factors of individual case. Fifth one is acting mechanically. Case law is Jagannath versus State of Orissa. Sixth one is subdelegation. Delegate non-protest delegatory, that is, a delegate cannot further delegate his function. Violation of fundamental rights. Article 14. Case law is State of West Bengal versus Anwar Ali. In that, constitutional validity of West Bengal Special Courts Act, which was entitled as an act to provide for the speedier trial of certain offences. The next case law is Chitralekha versus State of Mysore. It upheld an order of government that defined backwardness without any reference to caste, using other criteria such as occupation, income, and other economic factors. Article 19. Case law is State versus Bablu Law. It's a criminal case. There is a no fair hearing and right to be heard before final condemnation, and the right to have the order reviewed and objectively determined by a higher tribunal, judicial or otherwise. And then Article 21. Case law is Menaha Gandhi versus Union of India. It's a passport case. And that's it, dears. Thank you. Hope you all understand the topic that we have discussed in this class. If it was useful, give thumbs up to this video, and most of you have not yet subscribed. So please subscribe to my channel and tap the bell icon. Then only you will get a notification while I'm uploading the other concepts.